The notification lit up my phone at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Family group chat, it read. I was lying in bed next to my wife, Doreen, after putting our twin daughters to sleep. We'd just finished another 12-hour shift, me at the construction site, her at the hospital. My thumbs were still sore from handling rebar all day. Mom's 60th birthday party. Saturday at 6 p.m. Dress code, formal. Location, the Sterling Room downtown. My heart swelled. Mama was turning 60, and I'd already been planning something special for weeks. I'd saved up $300 for her gift, a locket with pictures of all her grandchildren. It sat wrapped in silver paper in my closet. Then I kept reading. RSVP list, Nadine, Winston, Aunt Vivien, Uncle Gerald, Stephanie, the Johnsons, the Williamses. I scrolled through 23 names. My palms started sweating. I read it again. And again. My name wasn't there. Neither was Doreen's. Neither were my daughters, Maritza and Millie. Baby, what's wrong? Doreen whispered, noticing my rigid posture. I couldn't speak. I just handed her the phone. Her eyes widened as she read. There has to be a mistake, Winston. Call your sister. I did. Nadine answered on the fourth ring, her voice sharp. What? Nadine, I think there's an error in the group chat. The RSVP list for Mama's party. There's no error, Winston. Silence crashed between us like thunder. What do you mean? Mama specifically said not to include you. Said she wanted a drama-free evening for once. The phone nearly slipped from my hand. Drama-free? Nadine, what are you talking about? She hung up. I couldn't sleep that night. Doreen held me as I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing through every interaction with my mother over the past year. Had I done something wrong? Said something offensive? Forgotten an important date? Nothing came to mind. At 6 a.m., I was already awake when my phone buzzed again. This time it was Winston Jr., my older brother, not me. We shared a name, which Mama always said was because Daddy wanted a Winston legacy. Junior got the numeral. I got the leftovers. Yo, little bro heard about the party situation. You're invited, I assume. I typed back. Yeah. Look, man, I don't know what's going on with Mama lately. She's been different since Daddy passed. But this ain't right. Our father had died 8 months ago. Sudden heart attack at 62. I'd been the one who'd paid for half the funeral when Mama's insurance fell short. $6,000 I'd borrowed from my 401k. I never mentioned it to anyone except Doreen. Has she said anything about me? I asked Junior. The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. She keeps saying you think you're better than the family now. That you've changed since you married Doreen. That you don't respect her anymore. My jaw clenched. I'd married Doreen 5 years ago. Mama had smiled at our wedding, hugged us both, told me she was proud. What changed? Then I remembered, 3 months ago, we'd declined Mama's request to co-sign a loan for Nadine's new car. Nadine had just filed for bankruptcy for the 2nd time. We'd said no to protect our daughter's future. Apparently, that made us the enemy. Growing up, I learned early that love in our house came with conditions. Nadine was the smart one, destined for greatness. Junior was the charismatic one, Mama's pride. I was just there. The middle child who never quite measured up. When I was 12, I brought home straight A's for the first time. Mama glanced at my report card and said, "That's nice, baby," then spent an hour praising Nadine's B+ in chemistry because science is harder for girls. When I got my college acceptance letter to Howard University with a partial scholarship, Mama threw a family dinner for Junior, who'd gotten accepted to community college the same week. "He's finally finding his path," she announced, beaming. I went to Howard anyway. Worked 3 jobs to cover what scholarships didn't. Graduated with a degree in civil engineering. Mama came to the ceremony but left early because Nadine needed help moving apartments. The patterns were clear, but I kept trying. That's what sons do, right? We keep showing up, keep proving ourselves worthy of the love that should have been unconditional. After Daddy died, I thought things might change. I visited Mama twice a week, brought groceries, fixed things around her house. I painted her entire living room the color she'd always wanted, a soft sage green. "It's too bright," she'd said when I finished. "You should have asked first." I had asked. She'd approved the color sample. But pointing that out would have made me disrespectful. Now, staring at that RSVP list without my name, every moment of overlooked effort crashed down on me like a building collapse. Doreen found me in our garage at 7 a.m., holding that wrapped locket. I hadn't realized I'd been sitting there for an hour, just staring at the silver paper. "Winston, baby, talk to me." She knelt beside me, her scrubs still on from her night shift. She should have been sleeping. "I don't understand what I did wrong, Kuish. I've tried everything. I've been the good son, the reliable one, the one who shows up. And I'm not even worth an invitation to her birthday." Doreen took my hands. Her eyes, warm and honest, locked onto mine. "Baby, you've been trying to earn something that should have been freely given. Your mama's love shouldn't come with a price tag. She's my mother. And you're her son. That goes both ways." Doreen's voice was gentle but firm. "I've watched you break yourself trying to be enough for her. When was the last time she asked how you were doing? Really asked?" I couldn't remember. "When's the last time she came to our house to see the girls?" "She says it's too far." We lived 20 minutes away. Nadine lived 45 minutes in the opposite direction, and Mama visited her monthly. "When's the last time she thanked you for anything? The funeral money? The house repairs? The groceries?" Each question was a knife, cutting through the excuses I'd made for years. "She's treating you like you're disposable, Winston. And the worst part? You're letting her." Those words hit different. Not because they were cruel, but because they were true. I looked at that locket again. $300. Hours of overtime. And for what? What should I do? I whispered. Doreen squeezed my hands. "Whatever you decide, I'm with you. But baby, you deserve better than this." I decided to try one more time. Call me stubborn, but I needed to hear it from Mama directly. I drove to her house that afternoon, unannounced. Her car was in the driveway, along with Nadine's white BMW, the one we hadn't co-signed for. Someone else had. I rang the doorbell. Nadine answered, her face immediately hardening. "Winston, this isn't a good time. I need to talk to Mama. She doesn't want to see you." "Nadine, she's my mother. I have a right." "You lost your rights when you turned your back on this family." Her voice rose, sharp and cutting. "What are you talking about?" That's when Mama appeared behind her, arms crossed. At 60 years old, she still commanded presence. But her eyes, once warm, looked at me like I was a stranger. "Mama, can we talk? Please." "Nadine told you everything you need to know. She told me you uninvited me from your birthday party. She didn't tell me why." Mama's jaw tightened. "You know exactly why, Winston. You and that wife of yours think you're too good for this family now. Got your fancy engineering degree, your nice little house, your perfect little life. Meanwhile, your sister's struggling, and you couldn't even help her when she needed you. The car loan? Mama, Nadine filed for bankruptcy twice. We have 2 daughters to think about." See? There it is. Always an excuse. Your sister needed help, and you turned your back on her. On all of us. My heart hammered. I paid for half of Daddy's funeral. $6,000. Nobody asked you to do that. You did that to show off, to make the rest of us look bad. The world tilted. I stood there, frozen, as Mama's words echoed in my ears. $6,000 I'd borrowed from my retirement, money meant for my daughter's future, and she thought I did it to show off? Mama, Daddy was my father too. I helped because the insurance wasn't enough. You helped because you wanted everyone to think you're the hero. Nadine chimed in, stepping beside Mama. Always trying to be better than everyone, looking down on us. I've never looked down on anyone. I work construction, Nadine. I carry rebar and pour concrete 60 hours a week. How is that looking down on you? You went to Howard, Mama said, her voice dripping with resentment I'd never heard before. You married a nurse, got a nice house, those pretty little girls. You parade it all around like you're not from the same neighborhood we are. The pieces started clicking together, forming a picture I'd been too loyal to see. This wasn't about the car loan. This wasn't about respect or attitude. This was about my refusal to stay small, to remain the overlooked middle child who didn't threaten anyone's position in the family hierarchy. My success, modest as it was, made them uncomfortable. So you're punishing me for building a life? We're not punishing you, Mama said, her tone dismissive. We're having a family party. You're just not invited to this one. Mama, I'm your son. And Nadine's my daughter who needs support right now. Alan's my son who's finally getting his life together. This party is for people who actually act like family. Something inside me cracked. Not broke, cracked. And through that crack, clarity poured in like sunlight. I see, I said quietly. Nadine smirked. Good. Now leave. I turned to walk away, then stopped. Enjoy your party. The way I said it made Mama's eyes narrow. But I was already walking to my truck. I sat in my truck outside Mama's house for 10 minutes, hands shaking. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I opened our family group chat and scrolled back. Months of messages. Years, even. The pattern was devastating. Every time I shared good news, a promotion, Maritza's honor roll, Millie's dance recital, the chat went silent. But when Nadine posted about her struggles, or Junior mentioned needing something, Mama rallied the troops. Family helps family, she'd write. Heart emojis. Prayer hands. I found the message from when I'd announced Doreen's pregnancy with the twins. 5 years ago. Mama had responded 3 days later with "That's nice." When Nadine announced her second divorce, Mama had written a paragraph within minutes about how proud she was of Nadine's strength and courage. I scrolled further. Found the thread from Daddy's funeral planning. I'd messaged about covering the shortfall, and Mama had replied, "If you want to." Not "thank you." Not "that's generous." Just, "if you want to." But there, 2 weeks later, was a message I'd missed. Nadine had written to the group, "Some people think money makes them better than everyone else. Daddy would have hated that." Mama had hearted the message. My vision blurred. These weren't breadcrumbs, they were neon signs I'd been too desperate to see. I screenshot everything. Every dismissive response to my accomplishments, every enthusiastic reply to my siblings, every passive-aggressive comment that had gone unchecked. Then I opened a new note on my phone and started writing. The truth. All of it. Nobody was going to rewrite history this time. When I got home, Doreen took one look at my face and knew. She didn't ask questions, just wrapped me in her arms while I stood there, numb. She actually said, "You paid for the funeral to show off," I whispered into her shoulder. Doreen pulled back, her eyes blazing. She said what? I showed her the screenshots, played back the conversation. With each detail, Doreen's expression shifted from sympathy to fury. "That's it," she said, her voice low and dangerous. "Winston, I've kept quiet for 5 years because you asked me to. I've smiled through the passive-aggressive comments, the forgotten birthdays for our girls, the way she lights up for Nadine's kids but barely acknowledges ours. But this crosses every line. Cooish. No. Listen to me." She grabbed my shoulders. "Your mama has been emotionally abusing you for years, and you've been so conditioned to it that you think it's normal. It's not normal, baby. None of this is normal." I wanted to defend Mama, to make excuses, but the words wouldn't come. "You know what I did during my break today?" Doreen continued. "I ordered a custom cake for your Mama. Spent $200 on a cake shaped like a gardening basket because you told me she loves gardening. I did that because my husband loves his mother, and I love my husband. Tears burned my eyes. I'd forgotten I'd mentioned that to her. And she didn't even invite our daughters to her party, Winston. Maritza and Millie. Her grandbabies. What kind of grandmother does that? The crack inside me widened. What do you want to do? Doreen asked softly. I thought about that locket, about the cake, about every effort I'd made that had been treated like garbage. I want to tell the truth, I said. Doreen nodded. Then let's tell it. Saturday morning. Party day. I woke up at 5 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep. Doreen found me at the kitchen table, laptop open, staring at the message I'd written and rewritten a dozen times. Is it ready? She asked, setting down coffee for both of us. I think so. Once I send this, there's no going back. Baby, there's already no going back. She uninvited you from her birthday. She accused you of showing off when you paid for your father's funeral. The relationship you're afraid of losing? It doesn't exist. It never did. I read the message one more time. It was detailed, factual, and devastatingly honest. Every screenshot, every receipt, every moment of being treated as less than. I'd laid it all out in a way that was impossible to deny or twist. The family group chat sat at the top of my screen, all 27 members. Everyone who'd received that RSVP list would see this. My finger hovered over send. Think about Maritza and Millie, Doreen said quietly. What do you want them to learn from this? That family can treat you like dirt and you'll keep coming back? Or that self-respect matters, even when it's hard? I thought about my daughters. 8 years old, brilliant and beautiful. I thought about what I'd tell them if someone treated them this way. I hit send. The message delivered at 6:47 a.m. I attached all the screenshots, the full timeline, and ended with this. To everyone attending Mama's party tonight, I won't be there, not because I wasn't invited, but because I finally understand that my presence has never been valued. I hope you all have a wonderful time celebrating. As for me, I'm celebrating something else today, my freedom from begging for love that should have been freely given. Enjoy your evening. Then I turned off my phone. Doreen hugged me tight. I'm proud of you. My hands were shaking, but something else was there too. Relief. Actual relief. What now? I asked. She smiled. Now we take our girls to the aquarium like we planned. Today's about us. I turned my phone back on at noon. We were at the aquarium, watching Maritza and Millie press their faces against the shark tank, when the notifications started flooding in. 83 missed calls. 147 text messages. The family group chat had exploded. Doreen watched my face. That bad? I scrolled through the messages. But something unexpected was happening. Yes, Mama and Nadine were furious. Their messages were exactly what I'd expected. Accusations, denial, demands that I apologize and delete everything. But others were different. Aunt Vivien, I always wondered why Winston was never included in things. Now I know. This is heartbreaking. Cousin Tasha, I'm sitting here crying reading this. Nobody should treat their child this way. Uncle Gerald, I won't be attending tonight. This doesn't sit right with my spirit. The Johnsons, our old neighbors, we've known Winston since he was born. This boy has never been anything but respectful and hardworking. We're out. One by one, people started dropping out of the party. The RSVP list I'd been excluded from was shrinking in real time. Then my phone rang. Alan. Little bro, what the hell did you do? I told the truth. That's all. Mama's losing her mind. Nadine's screaming. Half the family just cancelled. Then I guess it'll be a more intimate gathering, I said calmly. Winston, you know how Mama is. She doesn't always show love the right way. Junior, she uninvited me and my children to her birthday party, then told me I paid for Daddy's funeral to show off. How should she show love? Because I'm genuinely asking. Silence. That's what I thought, I continued. You're still invited, right? You should go. Enjoy yourself. Man, this is messed up. Yeah, it is. It's been messed up for 34 years. I'm just done pretending it's not. I hung up. By 3 p.m., the RSVP list had gone from 23 people to 7. Mama's perfect party was crumbling. I didn't plan to go anywhere near the Sterling Room that evening. But at 5:30 p.m., Aunt Vivien called. Baby, I need you to know something, she said, her voice heavy. I'm at the restaurant. Only 6 people showed up. Your mama's sitting there in her dress, and she looks broken. Part of me wanted to feel guilty. The dutiful son in me screamed to fix this, to apologize, to make everything okay. But Doreen's hand found mine. She shook her head gently. Aunt Viv, I appreciate you calling, but I didn't do this to her. She did this to herself. I know, baby. I know. I just thought you should know. Nadine's trying to convince everyone this is your fault. But people aren't buying it. We all read those screenshots. We all saw the pattern. What's Mama saying? Nothing. She's just sitting there, staring at the empty chairs. The restaurant set up for 25 people, and 6 showed up. I closed my eyes, breathing deeply. Winston, your daddy would be proud of you, Aunt Vivien continued. He used to tell me he worried about how your mama favored the other 2. Said you were the strongest one because you kept loving her anyway. But even strong people have limits. Tears slipped down my cheeks. Daddy said that. Many times. He saw everything, baby. He just didn't know how to fix it. We talked for a few more minutes, then she hung up. I sat there, processing. Daddy had known. He'd seen me being overlooked, dismissed, undervalued. And he'd done nothing. That hurt in a different way. But it also freed me. This wasn't in my head. This wasn't me being sensitive or ungrateful. This was real, and other people had seen it too. Doreen pulled me close. You okay? Yeah, I whispered. I think I actually am. At 7 p.m., my phone buzzed one more time. Alan, party's over. Mama went home. This is bad, man. I didn't respond. Sunday morning, Mama showed up at my house. I saw her car pull up through the window and felt my stomach clench. Want me to handle this? Doreen asked. No. I need to. I met Mama on the porch. She looked smaller somehow, her birthday dress replaced with jeans and an old sweater. Her eyes were red. You humiliated me, she said without preamble. In front of everyone. I told the truth. You aired our family business to everyone. You uninvited me from your birthday party, Mama. You made our business public first. Her face twisted. I was angry about the car loan. You could have helped your sister. Nadine filed for bankruptcy twice. Co-signing would have put my family at risk. I'm not apologizing for protecting my children. Those are my grandchildren too. Then why weren't they invited to your party? Mama flinched. She hadn't expected that. You've spent my entire life making me feel like I'm not enough, I continued, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Nothing I did was ever good enough, celebrated enough, acknowledged enough. I graduated college. You left my ceremony early. I got married. You complained about the venue. My daughters were born. You said that's nice 3 days later. I paid for Daddy's funeral, and you accused me of showing off. I never said. You did. Friday. On your porch. With Nadine standing right next to you. Her mouth opened, then closed. I have the screenshots, Mama. Years of them. Every time you dismissed my accomplishments, celebrated my siblings' mediocrity over my success, ignored my family. It's all documented. You were always so sensitive. No. I was always desperate for your love. There's a difference. Tears rolled down her face now, but I felt nothing. The well had run dry. I'm your mother. You can't just cut me off. Watch me. Her eyes widened. Winston. We're done, Mama. You want a relationship with me? With Doreen? With your granddaughters? Then you apologize. Really apologize. And you show up. Consistently. No more favorites, no more emotional manipulation, no more treating me like I'm disposable. You can't give me an ultimatum. It's not an ultimatum. It's a boundary. And if you can't respect it, then stay away. I walked back into my house and closed the door. Through the window, I watched her stand there for 5 minutes before finally leaving. Doreen wrapped her arms around me from behind. You did it. Yeah, I breathed. I did. 3 months have passed. Mama hasn't apologized. Nadine blocked me on everything. Alan still texts occasionally, awkward and stilted, trying to play both sides. But here's what else happened. Aunt Vivien comes over every Sunday for dinner. She brings her famous peach cobbler and plays board games with the twins. Uncle Gerald hired me to consult on a construction project. Said he'd rather work with family he can trust. Cousin Tasha started a group chat, just the family members who actually care about each other. No drama, no passive aggression. Just love. Doreen's been lighter, happier. She admitted she'd been carrying the weight of watching me hurt for years. And my daughters? They are thriving. They don't ask about grandma anymore. They're surrounded by people who show up for them consistently, who celebrate them without conditions. Last week, Maritza asked me, Daddy, why don't we see grandma like we used to? I knelt down, looked into her bright eyes, and said, sometimes people we love can't love us the way we deserve. And that's okay. We just make sure we're surrounded by people who can. She hugged me tight. Like Mommy and Aunt Viv. Exactly like that, baby girl. That night, I took out that locket, the one I'd never given Mama. I opened it, looked at the pictures of my family inside, and realized something. I'd been trying to give her something she'd never valued. So I gave it to Doreen instead. She cried when she opened it. You were going to give this to your mother. I was going to give it to someone who didn't appreciate me. Now I'm giving it to someone who does. She kissed me, tears on both our faces. I don't know if Mama will ever change. Part of me hopes she will. But I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not begging for crumbs when I deserve the whole table. I'm not shrinking myself to make other people comfortable. I'm not teaching my daughters that love comes with conditions. I sent one text message that made everyone walk out on her party. But the real message was to myself, I'm worth more than this. And I finally believe it.